Hello folks, in today's video I'm looking at a ChatGPT-powered audio dock. Meet the HiDock H1. Let me briefly explain what this device is, what it does, and why I think it could be a great addition to have as part of your desk setup. The HiDock H1 is a bit of a hybrid device. It's essentially a speakerphone with traditional buttons to answer and end calls, as you can see here. It has a large speaker and built-in microphone, so you can have hands-free calls, and you can also use the speaker to listen to music and various other audio uses. However, the HiDock H1 has a few more tricks up its sleeves. If I turn the device to its side and back, you can see it's also a docking station with all the essential ports you would need in a modern PC or laptop. I'll cover the ports in more detail later, but wait, there's more. There's also the ChatGPT function, and this is where things get really interesting. The HiDock H1 can record your meetings, phone calls, all at the touch of a button, and with ChatGPT AI technology, it can transcribe the recording into text and also provide an AI-produced summary of your meetings, phone calls, or even voiceovers. Here is a quick unboxing to show what's included in the box. So in the box you get the following items. The HiDock H1 audio docking station. It comes inside a nice soft carrying case. A quick start guide. The HiDock E1. Now this is an add-on to the main device and includes a hands-free earphone, a USB Type-C cable, a power adapter, a small roll of Velcro cable tidy strip, and there's also a letter with a QR code that takes you to an online support guide. So let's take a closer look at the HiDock H1. The HiDock H1 is available in two different color options. There's a dark slate gray and a light platinum gray, which is the one I have here. The design is nice and it's well built and put together. Everything feels solid. The front of the device is kind of dominated with a large speaker. This slider with the red accent allows you to control the level of noise cancellation when you are in a call. You have buttons to answer and end calls. There's a mute button. This button with the tick is used to start and stop recordings, and this is a volume dial which has LED lighting around the base, and the light indicates when the device is recording, as well as when you insert voice chapters or markers during a recording. I'll demo this later. The dial provides incremental feedback when turning. On the right hand side you have a pogo pin connector. This is for the HiDock E1 add-on with the earpiece. On the rear you have the following ports. The DC power port to connect the supplied power adapter. This is the main USB Type-C host port. This is what connects to your laptop and can provide up to 100 watts of power. This supports DisplayPort 1.4 alt mode. There are two HDMI ports. These support 4K resolution at 60 Hz. There's a 10 gigabits per second USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, two USB Type-A ports. The one on the left is a 3.2 Gen 2 and supports 10 gigabits per second, and the one on the right is a 3.1 Gen 1 and supports 5 gigabits per second. And finally, there's an Ethernet port. This supports speeds of 2.5 gigabits per second. On the left hand side you have the following. There's a Bluetooth button. This supports Bluetooth 5.2. There's another 10 gigabits per second USB Type-C port. This is also 3.2 Gen 2 port with PD or power delivery protocol. This also provides up to 18 watts of power and is perfect for charging your mobile phones. There's a full-size SD 4.0 card slot and a micro SD 4.0 card slot. And finally, let's look at the HiDock E1 earphone add-on. This comes pre-paired from the factory, so no pairing is required, although there is a pairing button on the actual dock. You just connect the dock to the H1 device using the magnetic pogo connector. The earphone works for both left and right ear. Simply turn the main earpiece like so. It has 8 hours of battery life for calls, and it has a wireless range of up to 10 meters. And it has an integrated record function via a button on the earpiece, which can also be used to add voice markers. Now, before doing a demo showing the HiDock H1 in action, here are the main features.
Pairing. The first device is connected successfully.
This is a speakerphone. It can connect to your mobile phone via Bluetooth so you can take hands-free calls.
Incoming call.
It can record phone calls and meetings at a touch of a button. It can provide a lifetime of free transcription for your calls and meetings, easily and quickly turning recordings into text, including the ability to add voice markers, and you can also get an AI-produced summary of your meetings or phone calls. It has bi-directional noise cancellation, which means noise cancellation from both your side and the caller side. This can be easily adjusted to get the best balance using the slider. It's an 11-in-1 docking station which can provide you with a clutter-free desk by having all the essential ports in one device. It provides up to 118 watts of fast charging, 100 watt from the rear Type-C host port, and 18 watts from the Type-C port on the left-hand side. There's a free companion app and also a web desk app with AI transcription. It's compatible with Windows, Android, Mac, and iOS. The HiDock H1 not only records your phone calls, but it also works with many applications including Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp, and FaceTime. And finally, all the recordings are stored locally, and you can upload and easily transcribe up to 4 hours of audio. Now, I'm not going to do a step-by-step connection tutorial in this video. It's a plug-and-play device, so it's not complicated. And if you do need help, then just scan the QR code on the welcome letter, and that will take you to an online support service with various guides and video tutorials. So time for a demo. First, let's try out the docking station function. I've got the H1 connected to my MacBook Pro, and as you can see, I've got various peripherals connected. I have a keyboard and a mouse connected, and also a monitor using HDMI port number 1. And as you can see, everything is working just fine. Let's try out the speaker. To do this, I simply select the HiDock H1 as the audio out device. Then all the sound is routed via the H1, and this is how it sounds. Now let's try a phone call. So here's my phone. It's connected to the HiDock H1 via Bluetooth, and this is how it sounds.
Incoming call.
Testing 1, 2, 3. This is a phone call test using the HiDock H1. This is how the audio sounds when using the HiDock H1 as a speakerphone. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now let's try the recording function. To start recording, simply hold the tick button for 1.5 seconds and the LED indicator light around the volume dial will come on to signal that it's recording. So let's just keep talking for a bit, and I can go ahead and I can add voice markers by simply pressing the tick button again, and the LED light around the volume dial will flash white to indicate that. Right, so to test out the recording function, instead of me just trying to randomly talk and say some silly things, I'm going to be reading a short passage from a book. This book is called The Meaning of Things, Applying Philosophy to Life. It's by A.C. Grayling. So here goes nothing. This chapter is called Moralizing. A moralizer is a person who seeks to impose upon others his view of how they should live and behave. Anyway, that's enough of me reading the book. We'll see how ChatGPT basically automatically translates this into text and summary shortly. So once you've finished saying whatever you want to say, or you've finished your phone call or a meeting, to stop the recording, you simply hold the tick button for a further 1.5 seconds and the recording ends. We can now go to the web app, upload the recording and transcribe it, and this is the result. So as you can see, the result is presented to you as a voice to text on the left hand side. This is the complete text of the recording, and on the right hand side there is an AI produced summary of the recording. This includes the core messages that the system thinks the recording is about, and in this case it's got it spot on. The system has identified this recording as a memo, and it's basically giving me the following core message. It says, "This memo outlines the process of recording using a device with an LED indicator light and voice markers. It also mentions testing the recording function by reading a passage from a book." This is clearly spot on and it's very accurate. There's also a section highlighting the points where I inserted voice markers. There's an AI produced list of insights, and the system has clearly identified that there was only one speaker on the recording, hence the S1 around the blue circles. So overall, it's done a great job. It's really accurate, albeit this was a fairly easy recording with just me talking for a short period of time, but the AI summary was very impressive. Now, I wanted to try recording with two different people talking at the same time, so I got my 9-year-old son and just asked him a few random questions about gaming and so forth. So here is the actual conversation of me speaking to him, and this is the transcription of the actual conversation. And as you can see, it's done an excellent job. The summary again is spot on. It's very impressive, and it's clearly identified two different speakers in the recording. Now let's try the noise cancellation feature, and this is how it sounds.
In this demo, we will play audio with various background noises. By moving the red slider up and down, you can experience the noise reduction performance. During the demo, you can exit by pressing the hang up call button at any time. Let's start with an introduction to the HiDock brand with keyboard typing and construction noise. We believe that communication can solve 90% of problems. The communication devices of the future should effortlessly capture voice and take notes.
The HiDock H1 is a great device, and as a speakerphone it works really well. As a docking station it's great. It has a good selection of ports and has dual HDMI out ports for monitors. The overall design is nice, it's well built and quite simplistic. It's got 4 buttons, a dial and a slider. I also like the earphone add-on. In terms of recording, it's all stored locally and you can upload and transcribe up to 4 hours of audio. The recording function and the quality is perfectly fine for phone calls and meetings. Now let's talk about the ChatGPT AI function. The transcription function is brilliant. It works really well, and the summary function is also really useful. Furthermore, it's great that this is a lifetime free service. At least I hope it remains free. There are similar services out there that charge a monthly subscription for features like this. Overall, the HiDock H1 is a great device for its intended purpose. If you're someone who is always in meetings or taking important phone calls, this is a great device that will come in handy and save you time. This can take minutes in your meeting, transcribe and summarize them. It's also great for recording phone calls and taking voice notes, both of which can easily be transcribed into text. And if you want privacy, instead of the loudspeaker, you can use the E1 earphone, and if you have a cluttered desk, this will help you declutter with all the ports that you need built into one device. And you can even fast charge your laptop and phone at the same time. Folks, thanks for watching. If you are interested in the HiDock H1, I'll leave all the details in the video description below. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll do my best to come back to you. Until next time, take care and I'll see you on the next one.